Wait, don't go in there. He's doing his podcast.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. We are back with the Successfully Failing podcast. Yep. Everybody's in the house. Danny's here. Chris is here. Say hi, Chris. Nick is here. Or after his long and awesome journey into another man's house, being fat and lazy, and watching all the movies, and going to see Ready Player One and not even inviting anybody. And speaking of which, here's another friend of mine who didn't invite nobody. But yeah, say hi, X.
Hey, but the thing is, you was occupied, so.
Man, listen, I was at Lisa's house, and there's nothing.
Like everybody knows, like if you're with a female, you don't call. You don't. Nah. That's your day. That's it. Man, everybody knows that. I'm
with Lisa. You could have told me. We would have both went to see the movie. But nah, you want to be greedy, both of y'all. You on your secret dates. Anywho,
I ain't no bad guy here.
On to something more important. Because, I forgive because that's what a good friend does. Tomorrow is a very, very monumentous day for moviegoers and comic book fans and anybody who cares about anything that's awesome. Avengers Infinity War. It's finally out. 10 years of Marvel movies leading up to this big event. I'm fucking excited. I'm pretty sure I could speak for everybody to say that we're all excited here. Yeah, everybody knows the story. If you don't know the story, then you're listening to the wrong podcast. But Thanos is coming. Or Thanos, tomato. Yeah, I'm excited. On a scale from 1 to 10, I'm at like 100. What about you, X?
I'm at like 10.
He's excited. He's just trying to downplay it. He wants to seem cool.
No, it's what you would expect from an Avengers movie.
Man,
I get more excited off the other solo movies than Avengers.
Not this one. If it wasn't for the fact that the Russos were directing it, I'd just be like, yeah, whatever. But the Russos, I mean, these are the same guys behind Civil War and Winter Soldier. So that's the main reason why I'm excited. I mean, obviously this is a big event, but like after Age of Ultron, like if they would have picked Whedon or somebody, you know what? I can't even blame Whedon too because Marvel changed up a lot of shit that Whedon wanted to do in that movie.
Yeah, but still, I still enjoyed Age of Ultron.
Fuck Age of Ultron. That shit was whack. That shit was dumb.
Really?
Yes.
I didn't think so.
Like there were cool parts, but I mean, like to be an Avengers film with Ultron.
Wow. Well, Ultron, he's kind of disappointing as a villain or whatever, but
they might as well have taken it out and been Hulk versus the Avengers, another one of those kind of Civil War kind of deals. I would have much rather seen that story because that's what pretty much most of the movie was. But yeah, like I mean, there was some cool parts, but like I said, it was just like you take Ultron, who is not a Thanos level event, but big enough to have that kind of build. But it did kind of suck because they really didn't build to him anyways. So it's like, oh yeah, that's just gonna be the next Avenger movie.
Yeah, there was nothing that pointed towards him.
Like you could have built towards Thanos, but also sub-built towards, there could have been like hints or whatever. Even if it wasn't like boom in your face, it could have been subtle things where like, they put a featurette where like, oh yeah, remember when this and this happened, and then everybody's like, oh.
Thanos is there for 10 years just scoping out Earth, just like.
Yep.
He was probably ready to come in by Avengers too, but Ultron was occupied. So he stood back, be like, you know what, I gotta do this shit myself.
Yeah, he thought Ultron was gonna handle it, but Ultron
was gonna soften up the Earth.
Too busy talking about leave me alone. Which is, I think.
Meanwhile, the one guy that actually put a dent in the Avengers is Baron
Zemo. Yeah,
that's it.
Who in that movie really? I mean, he was a super soldier, but he didn't display any of that. I don't think he laid one punch in the entire movie, if I'm not mistaken.
He did not. I don't think so at all.
And he did more damage than anybody combined.
Yeah,
but
he technically won, actually.
Have you seen Ragnarok yet?
No. There's no.
All right, we're gonna have to end this shit. I'm gonna have to spend money and rent it again. I don't mind that. It's worth it. But anywho, but yeah, like I just saw that the other day, and I was late to that party. But anywho, so back to Avengers. Yeah, so this is the big deal. I mean, anybody who's been following these Marvel movies, I mean, if you follow the comics, you obviously know it's a big deal. But if you've been following the Marvel movies only, Thanos is a big deal. And, he's been scoping things out. Hoping that other people would take care of these Avengers and handle the Earth problem. But apparently, out of all the galaxies, out of all the planets in the world, ours is the most dangerous to Thanos. But anyway, so we're getting this big event. Like I said before, Thanos is coming to conquer Earth in part of his galactic conquest. And yeah, this is the real deal, man. Like we haven't seen this, I think, at all. Like I brought up Star Wars being probably like you look at Star Wars, Lord of the Rings, and Harry Potter, probably three of the biggest, and Star Trek, but Star Trek is not built the same way. It's more like just like sort of one-off movies, kind of, even though some of them are whatever. But Star Wars, Lord of the Rings, and Harry Potter. Star Wars being obviously the biggest one, but we've never seen anything like this because we had the first three Star Wars, which is 4, 5, and 6. Then they went and made 1, 2, and 3 like 20 years later after that. And then 15 years later, we have the current trilogies, 7, 8, and 9. But it wasn't until recently that they started making everything more they started expanding on that. But Marvel has been the only movie monster that we've seen that started something in 2008 and slowly build into this thing, and that's pretty cool because I know there's a lot of critics that are like, oh yeah, we're tired of this whole comic book thing, whatever. And I get it. There are we went from maybe one comic book movie every 3 years to 4 in a year. I mean, and that's just on a light year. Because there was 1 year. There was it wasn't last year. There was 1 year that there was at least 7 superhero-ish movies. That's a lot. Matter of fact, last year we had Power Rangers, which is a superhero movie.
Yeah, Power Rangers,
Logan, Guardians of the Galaxy, Spider-Man, Thor Ragnarok, Justice League. Yeah, that's a lot.
Yeah, that is.
And Kingsman, even though it's not really a superhero movie, that's still a comic book based film, and it might as well throw Star Wars in the mix. Almost superhero-ish. So that's a lot. That's a lot in 1 year, and I might even be missing one. But yeah, that's a lot of stuff in 1 year. In that Black Panther was this year, but it was very early this year. So that in that 1 year span, that's a lot of shit. So, well, I was talking about last year, 2017. But this year is relatively light, kind of, but even still. But anyways, so yeah, people, there's a lot of critics. They're like, we're tired of this superhero stuff, whatever. But to Marvel's credit, they've been building at something. So it's not like they're just throwing these movies in for the sake of money. I mean, obviously they're making money in it, and they're making money from it, and they're cashing in. But this was all to build to something, to introduce characters, so that for the most part, if whatever they do or if something's done to them, it means something. Not just oh, there's this guy and he dies. Oh, no. So anyways, yeah, this is really big. First time we've ever seen this. I mean, the first Avengers, there was a couple movies leading into it. Second Avengers, a couple more. But this is, huge. I don't remember the number of superheroes they said that were going to be in this movie alone, because there's also next year, which will be the Avengers 4, which is the follow-up to Infinity War, which is a direct sequel. I mean, right now we've got Cap, Iron Man, Hulk, Thor, Black Panther, Ant-Man, Spider-Man. I don't know if Wasp is going to be in this. I don't think so, because I know Ant-Man and Wasp takes place after, maybe. I don't know. But anyways, you got Hawkeye, Scarlet Witch, Black Widow, Vision, War Machine, the Guardians of the Galaxy, and that's just who they've introduced already.
Just about everybody from Phase 1 and 2 is
Yeah, Loki's gonna be in it. I think that Korg dude from Thor is gonna be in it. Probably just a minor, tiny role, but still.
I think some of them were outside of Captain America and Iron Man. I think everybody else is gonna be like a minor role.
Oh yeah.
That's outside the Avengers.
Well, from what I've heard, that they managed to actually a lot of the characters, the pivotal ones, have Cap, Spider-Man, Thor, Hulk, all of them. They have like a significant amount of maybe not time, but their screen time is equally effective, which is pretty cool. But
they say, I think Russo said Thor got the most screen time out of all of them.
I think so. And I was talking to my friends on the other show, and was it them? No, was it them? Yeah, it was them. Loki, excuse me, is probably gonna die, and that might be.
I hope so.
But no, I liked him as a character, as a villain. Not really, but as a character,
yeah. But as a villain, it's just so annoying.
I think it's just that they hype him up to be such a big villain in the movies, but he's really not. He's not really a villain. He is, but he's not. In the comics, yeah, he's a fucking menace.
In the comics, yeah, he's a different beast.
Yeah. But
MCU, I'm just every time I see him, I'm just annoyed with him.
Yeah, but yeah, he's
grow up, bro.
He's probably gonna die, and then that's gonna cause like Thor to have this big, probably his most mature, pivotal moment in this entire Phase 1. Because it's and coming from the Russos, it's expected, because I mean we've seen what they've done with Community, and even Civil War, which is all in all Captain America's movie, but Tony and everybody else that was in it, even T'Challa, Black Panther, who was a pretty small role in that movie, had a pivotal role in that movie. So it's cool how they know how to divide characters.
T'Challa had his own arc in Civil War.
Yeah, which was cool because it was a nice way to.
Yeah, he has his little mystery revenge arc.
Yeah. And it was nice to kept him important, but it also didn't overshadow anything that was going on in the film, which is cool. So the Russos, that's why I was so excited for this film more than I have been for any other of the Avenger films, or outside of the first one, because I remember going into that, I was like, that was a big deal. But and I was hyped for Age of Ultron, and I was disappointed. But anyways, yes, these guys really know what they're doing, and the fact that this is a 2 episode thing, 2 movie thing, so that's pretty cool. I'm pretty sure there's going to be a lot.
They finished filming the second one, right?
I'm pretty sure. If they didn't, I think they did, because I heard stories of what's his name.
The Thor saying I'm kind of done here, something like that. Well, not Thor. Well, Chris Hemsworth. Yeah, and what was it? Chris Pratt. He's been filming a lot in the last couple of years, a lot between this and Jurassic World, and Guardians. It's I heard stories of him being up for 24 hours, 48 hours straight, some crazy shit. So, but yeah, I would assume that it's, if not. He must love his job and getting that money.
Oh well, I don't know if you've heard Chris Pratt's story, but he was one of those dudes that he was how do you say, a hostess or a waitress or whatever, a waiter, excuse me. And he was hustling, living in his car, one of those kind of deals. So he's just living it up right now.
Yeah. That's how I know how somebody's yo, I'm not going back to that broke life no more. I'm getting all that money.
He said he's never going back to Chubby Brad.
People get at Cardi B. I mean, even I am, but she's a hard worker.
Yeah, she's a hard worker.
She said she's pregnant, still performing whatever at her stage of pregnancy.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not a fan of her music at all, but.
Once I am Beyonce, I said yeah.
But hey, I could just I could just tell that yo, the hard workers, they were broke at one point.
Yeah. Because we all remember Chris Pratt from being the pudgy, chunky, smelly dude in Parks and Rec. Why are we talking about that? This is not the Beyonce episode. This is the Avengers Infinity War episode. But anyways, yeah, Chris Pratt, he definitely like came from that. Yeah. I don't know how recent it was. Obviously, he's been in Parks and Rec for a while, but I think that was like his first big break.
Parks and Rec.
Yeah.
I believe that. I think that was. I wouldn't. Yeah, I think that was his break. But he was in this movie with Anne Hathaway and it's one of those freaking weird rom-coms type shit.
Oh yeah, I don't know.
He had like a little small part.
Yeah.
And he was in Zero Dark 30.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, he was in Zero Dark 30, and all of a sudden.
Oh shit! Yeah, wow, I forgot. Damn.
What made him blow up into Hollywood, into the summer blockbuster? It wasn't Zero Dark 30 because he was only in there for like a.
I guess it was his Parks and Rec thing, and then his first was Guardians of the Galaxy. Like it was his first big thing, but I think it was Parks and Rec that
Jurassic World.
Yeah, Jurassic World, and then
if you're doing like 2 blockbusters, you're basically set.
Yeah. Because I know his first big Hollywood film was Guardians of the Galaxy, and I think it was like the spike in Parks and Rec was always successful from the get, that in The Office. So yeah, that's what got him there. And then right after that, he got the Jurassic World thing, and he's even rumored to be in the new Indiana Jones reboot or whatever it is. So
that's like a potential 3-movie thing right there too. So.
I'm just waiting for him to be casted in a Star Wars flick. Then he's set.
So he's already set. So but you know how summer blockbuster people go, they just come and go.
Yeah,
real quick. But he got a good security with Marvel. Anyway.
Yeah, exactly. And his Guardians thing. I mean, he's young. The Guardians thing is young. There's a lot you could do with the Guardians.
Indiana Jones is under the Disney umbrella, LucasArts.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so he's all right.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I said I'm just waiting for a Star Wars casting. But where were we with the filming and all that stuff? But yeah, so it's gonna be crazy to see how this all folds. Like. I'm dying to see because there's gonna be a lot, and you could tell from like the early reviews. People said there's a lot of stuff in this film, and this is one of those things like you're gonna have to see twice, providing that it's good, which I'm 200% sure it's gonna be good. Like, I mean, I wanted to see this. I don't care. Like, it was the same thing with like some like BVS or Justice League. I didn't care if people thought it sucked. I wanted to see it. So, like, even if, like, people were shitting on this, like, I still want to see it. This is 10 years of investment. Like, I didn't really care for Guardians 2. I saw it. There was some Marvel movies down the road that it's like, I wasn't super hyped for it, but I was going to go see it. And I'm not saying they were bad. Like, Guardians 2 wasn't bad by any stretch. It was no Guardians 1. And it definitely really didn't move anything along as far as the Thanos story goes, but we already know what's going on at that point. Like, there was no more we really needed to see. It was cool though. It did build for their future, because they reference Warlock, and in the comics, Warlock is one of the people that helps defeat Thanos. So, is that going to come into play? Probably not. I think they're going to center it more around the main people, but. So like, who do you think is going to be like surprise characters in this thing, like in the first one? Because I have a lot of
the surprise. What do you mean, like surprise?
like who's going to show up, that like new characters, cameos, and stuff like that, from within the Marvel universe, especially now that they have Fox and Sony. Like, who do you think? Like, it doesn't have to be like who. I
don't think any of those new Fox characters are going to show up yet.
I think
they may be mentioned.
Yeah, I think what we will get, is some kind of reference to Reed Richards. Like,
I mean, we might just hear a name drop here and there, but outside of seeing them, we ain't going to see.
I think Reed Richards is going to be this is kind of going to the next movie. I think Reed Richards will be named here or some kind of reference, but I think he's showing up in the second movie, because I think they're gonna bring in the negative zone and all that shit, and like that's gonna help. and they'll explain that more in their movie. But it's going to be something that helps.
That merger agreement is not complete yet, so they can't really technically.
It's been
No, it's not. They agreed to it. It's not.
It's not
finalized.
It's not 200%, but that's why like.
Silver Surfer's in there.
Yeah, I've heard Silver Surfers and.
It's basically finalized.
Yeah.
They can't fully.
It's one of those things, that they have to. Like when the thing's set, like with NBA.
They probably have something written down right now, but they just can't say anything until.
It's like the public announcement, and I think that's why, like I was saying, like there'll be name drops, but there won't be like Reed Richards. I think is definitely showing up in Avengers 4. I think Wolverine is showing up in Avengers 4. That might be harder than the Fantastic Four. I think the Fantastic Four is a lock for the next Avengers.
I think when it comes to the X-Men, the first person they should show is either Cyclops or Charles Xavier.
Oh, me too, but that it's probably going to be Logan.
But I don't know but I would like it for them to.
Yeah,
I think it's just weird seeing Logan first.
Trust me, dude. I'm a huge believer in Cyclops over everybody. Like Cyclops is the leader of the X-Men, even Professor X. Like even if it's just a name drop, show the mansion. If they show the mansion in the movie, that's enough for me. Or like reference the mansion in a photo or file or something like that. That would be cool. And I think Deadpool is going to show up in an end credit scene.
Well, since this is the first half of the overall picture, like I wouldn't be surprised in part 2 you might see a file be like mutants or something like that.
Yeah, and they could finally call these two mutants.
Maria Hill found something like they finally dropped mutant name and whatever or like a file and all that shit. So
Mm-hmm.
if I see that, I'm good. The whole movie could suck. If I see that,
right?
I'm good. Because I want an Avenger versus X-Men. I want that shit.
That would be huge. I mean, and that's the next best thing. I mean, it's obviously Civil War Part 2, but on another scale.
It doesn't have to be because the Avengers and the mutants don't trust each other.
No,
blah,
yeah.
blah, blah.
I'm just saying it's the same idea to like to casual people. But yeah, that would be awesome, man, because that does actually come after Thanos. So, not directly after it, but there's a lot of shit you could do. But yeah, so me personally, I think that Reed Richards will be referenced in some way, shape, or form in this movie, but will be shown in the next movie. I think Deadpool is gonna get a post-credit scene, because they do those serious ones and then they do the one jokey one, and I think he might like drop like some shit where like he's about to drop a swear, he's about to drop a curse, and then he's like one of those things.
Spider-Man's gonna have something black on him.
That's the most. I think that's the most curious. Like that, I'm the most curious about the whole Venom and Spider-Man thing, because Venom is part of the universe. I think they're just keeping it a little hush to see if the movie's good, see if they even want to include that story in there, because it could work. It sucks that Eddie Brock and his age difference is. There's a huge age difference between him and Peter, so you lose that dynamic of them being like rivals and whatnot.
Well, Peter was already a man. Okay, I get what you're saying.
Yeah, like because they kind of it's like they were in the same age thing, so it's kind of weird having Tom Hardy pick on a kid, but you could still do it because he is a reporter and all that, whatever. But then I like the way they're there's ways you could do it. That's the only thing I don't like, and I don't know. This is totally off topic, but in the trailer that girl that Michelle Williams is playing. Look at the trailer again. I don't know if this crossed your mind. Tell me she does not look exactly like Gwen Stacy. The blonde hair. There's one scene where she's on a table. She's standing. She's sitting on a table or standing by a table, and you see the skirt, and it's a checkered skirt. I'm like, dude, and it's in the credits in the IMDb. It's not.
Did they? I don't know who's the only character I know is in that movie is Eddie Brock. I don't know any other characters.
Yeah, that other name I never heard it unless it's something that's in a newer comic. But
I because in that movie, it's who?
Scream.
Oh, okay. So I expect like Felicia Harding should be in them because they're doing their own little what do you call it?
Oh no, Black and Silver's not happening.
Oh, it's not?
None. I don't think it's happening.
Well, that sucks.
Just like Dark Phoenix is the last Fox X-Men movie.
I'm done with that. Actually. I'm done.
Yeah,
The Apocalypse was the last movie for me. I don't care about no other X-Men movie.
Yeah, it kind of sucks that it is kind of separated, but it is included because if it is included, which would be awesome because I think Tom Hardy, perfect adversary, and I do like that he's like I mean.
So Sony could do their own little popular character.
Yeah, but like it would be cool to see him included in everything else that's going on, but then it also sucks because it kind of eliminates certain things between him and Spider-Man.
Yeah,
you know,
I mean, some stories cannot be told because of.
Yeah, but
I mean, it's cool because they could tell
different story.
Tell their story. I mean,
Yeah.
Venom is closest thing popular to Spider-Man.
Yeah, yeah. Honestly, like Venom was one of the biggest characters in the '90s.
Yeah, so
and still is.
I mean, an anti-hero type Venom. I mean,
we need more of those because in the MCU we don't have a
true anti-hero.
No, yeah. Like the closest is Punisher, and that's the Netflix, which that still works. And I think he's showing up. If not in this one, the next one.
But in the Avengers, I don't think no.
He's gonna show up. He doesn't have to be part of the Avengers. He's gonna show up because like.
Cap dies in 4, then he's gonna come.
Oh no, that I'm not going that far. I'm just saying if there's one dude that would jump into a war like this, he's the best suited for it.
It's supposed to be,
yeah, like they're on posters or
VR,
files. I'm not seeing any characters drop from the Netflix.
You'll probably see silhouettes of them.
No, I think if anybody, it's either gonna be Daredevil or Punisher. Luke Cage makes the most sense because he's powerful. He could like.
Luke Cage is the only one there that's not an anti-hero.
Yeah.
Well, Daredevil is, but Daredevil is not an anti-hero.
No, he's a hero. Yeah.
He's a hero, but he's stepping close to that line. But Luke Cage is the only one that's like, the true hero there in that whole.
Yeah, because he's not an anti-hero by any shape or form. Like Punisher is ultimate anti-hero.
Punisher is just.
Danny Rand's a hero too. Yeah, he's actually he's a hero. But anyway, so what were we saying? Back to the whole. Even though we got off the Avengers, but yeah, Venom is the only real anti-hero, and it would be cool to see him. And what we were saying is, remember how like after Infinity War, like it would be awesome to see these writers create new stories, as opposed to just recycling. Even though it sucks because now they're more equipped to do these comic book stories that they wanted to tell. So I mean I'm past the point where like they change things because if you make a good movie, you make a good movie as long as you keep the core of what makes the characters, that's fine, because they do it in comic books all the time. I mean we see reboots and changes and shifts in stories as long as it works. I mean it would be cool to see stuff like Avengers versus X-Men versus Avengers come up. A Dark Phoenix done properly. How do you say and properly I don't mean by like following the comic books exactly, but a good comic book based film and not the mishmash mess, let's jump to different decades kind of shit. But anyways, so what was I saying? Yeah, it would be interesting to see if Venom and Spider-Man wanted, like, if they're things intertwined within this Avengers film or something like that, some way, shape, or form. Because it would be cool to see, like, the Avengers that, like, part of that war brought some of the symbiote to Earth. Maybe Thanos conquered another planet and in the wake brought that to here. That'd be cool. Like a little, because then that brings... If they do something like that, then that means Tom Hardy's here to stay.
I wouldn't be surprised if there's like something that's got left over that makes it to the Venom movie.
Yeah, especially
there's a reason why Venom is coming out in October.
Yeah, exactly, and like it would be cool to see these things intertwined. I mean, they like we spoke about Tony Stark selling his the Stark Tower in New York. Obviously, they did that because, in my opinion, they did that to make room for. Fantastic Four and the Baxter Building, not to just say, "Oh yeah, this building's been here and nobody saw it." Like, oh, they just moved in. Because there's ways you could bring in these characters, to the thing. You have the Reality Stone and all that.
Could be the Osborn.
That would be big. But the only thing is that like I don't know. Well, then again, it would fit in with kind of like Tony's imperfections, like the fact that he's a weapons dealer and shit like that, and him getting mixed in, because he is a good guy, but essentially like he has not bad guy traits, but he's done things in the past with the weapons that may have led to villains getting to. So that'd be cool. Yeah, I didn't think of the Oscorp. That'd be cool. Even though the Oscorp building, no, that was from Amazing Spider-Man. So yeah, that hasn't even been introduced in Homecoming. So that works. That's cool. And like, what are do you think any villains are gonna come back in any way, shape, or form?
Villain?
Like maybe not to fight in this war, but just in as an effect of the Thanos coming here or him doing something, whatever. Because I have ideas.
Nah, I couldn't come up with one right now.
My thing.
It's just that these villains are like so forgettable in these movies that I don't care to see them again.
The only guy I care about is Red Skull, and
him.
Yeah,
I care about Red Skull. Red Skull was a good, a villain that's like not used to his potential.
Yeah, but his.
I thought that he's gonna be back at least some point in the future.
Well, you know why he hasn't come back, right? Because Hugo Weaving refuses to. And I don't know. They're adamant on him playing Red Skull.
Why is he being a Hasara push?
I don't know. I don't know. A lot of these actors don't like these comic book films, and it's weird that they take it. Well, money.
Money though. But I mean, come on, you see a universe. I'm sure you should know that there's a universe. Well, then again, Marvel's pretty silent on their plans. But
at that time, you knew it was of the first Avenger.
Yeah.
So you kind of. I don't know.
I don't get it. I don't get it.
But even though he's not coming back, Hugo Weaving, I think that because remember he gets sucked into the Tesseract. Now, obviously, the Tesseract is being turned into the one of the stones. So in turn, whether it's when Thanos puts on the stone or if he gets relieved of the stone or whatever, Red Skull will be freed from that. And then I have ideas of who could play him. So number one, Christoph Waltz. I mean, that dude, he's old, which is fine because Red Skull's old. Red Skull doesn't really fight hand-to-hand combat. He's got the charisma. He's obviously German. I think he's one dude that could play him. And if they're going to recast the X-Men, which I hope they don't recast this guy, Fassbender. He could play it good, but I don't want to see him not play Magneto because.
See now, Fassbender. I mean, as the first class Magneto, it was all good, but it's just that later on, it's just like when the whole Magneto, what do you call it? What's that? The Days of Future Past. Yeah, that was like I was like. It's just kind of weird to me.
I mean, I like him no matter what.
I think it's just a contrast between the original and the past Magneto's going in at it like that.
Oh yeah, that
the original actor isn't like that. It's just like what?
Yeah, and remember and
plus Magneto doesn't seem to really age in that whole.
Yeah, and the whole thing with that is like they did that for what? The Days of Future Past for what? Change the past for what?
That movie was a waste.
Yeah,
it was a great movie, and it just there's no payoff at all.
You know who should have did that movie? Marvel.
Yeah.
That'd have been the perfect way to shift things, but no.
But you bringing that in just to go back in the 80s.
Yeah. So which they probably won't keep the same actors, just because. So there you go. That's the perfect way for him to play Red Skull. Yeah, he's German too. So.
I mean, Johnny Storm was Chris Evans went from Johnny Storm to Captain America. I mean,
yeah, it could happen.
I won't be and Michael B. Jordan went from Johnny Storm to fucking Killmonger.
Mm-hmm. It's happened a lot.
So yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if there's like a recast happening, but
yeah.
But as for like a Magneto, it's whatever. I mean. I couldn't come up with anything right now, but for my Wolverine, got to be Manning Bennett. That's the guy.
Well, if Tom Hardy's gonna be Eddie Brock, then yeah, that's definitely my number one was Tom Hardy to play Wolverine. But yeah, Bennett, yeah, that guy's perfect for it. And I haven't seen much of him. I've seen enough of him to know that he's a perfect Wolverine.
He's short. He's husky. He's just like him.
Stu Bennett
Not Stu Bennett.
Yeah. And for Cyclops, yeah,
There's a lot of people that could play Cyclops. I had somebody. You know who would be a good Cyclops, and this might be Andrew Garfield. He's kind of got that Cyclops-ish like look. I mean, that's not my number one guy to go with. I was just
the look, but
yeah.
body wise, is
he could bulk up. I mean,
of course, yeah.
That's what these people bulk up in a matter of months. But that's not my number one pick. But he came into my mind while I was thinking about like the Spider-Mans and shit like that. Like, but
Winger, so we can get a winger speed.
Why do I feel like they're gonna have these little kitty X-Men and have Wolverine?
That's the only thing I'm not looking forward to, man.
Mold them up and all that.
That's the only thing I'm not looking forward to because they did it with Spider-Man. And
but I understand why they did it with Spider-Man.
It makes sense with him, but the X-Men.
He always starts out as a kid. But X-Men, I don't want to see no little kitty X-Men.
If they would do that, I would like to see them keep the current kid who's playing Scott. But yeah, I don't want to see that. I want to see a.
It's already weird that when I see Angela Bassett in Black Panther, I saw Storm. I saw Storm.
Yeah, she would be a great Storm.
See, I'm like, oh, Marvel, you missed it right there.
Yeah, she would be a great Storm. There's a whole matter of fact we can actually break down like a whole recasting thing because there's a lot of one of my favorite ones, and this is definitely off topic, but it's
she would play a perfect Storm at her age, and Storm is like a mentor for an X-Men too. I mean, like
yeah, exactly. She doesn't even have to be in the forefront of all the fighting.
Yeah.
She could just be like the teacher, the professor version, which would be, even though by the time this will happen, I think she'll be way too old for it. But if they did an Avengers versus X-Men, I think she would be way too old to play it, but she would be perfect. Like the now Angela Bassett would be perfect for that Storm. The post Professor X Storm.
Because Nick Fury casting is that guy's way too old. Samuel Jackson.
Yeah, I wonder if they're gonna go back to the white Nick Fury.
His father?
I don't know.
Well, there's a lot of possibilities. I mean, the stones can shift reality, so I mean that's a perfect way to sort of. I mean, comics do it all the time. They go, not saying to erase events, but like I don't know.
Comics is more broader.
Yeah, but the movies kind of like have that.
Nick Fury is based on the Ultimate Nick Fury.
Yeah.
But he's also one of the recent ones with Marvel. That's
that was a way to.
That wasn't the Ultimate Nick Fury though.
Yeah, but see what they could do is not change the past or reality, but like augment it. So like say after, because we all know how this ends. When none of us are stupid. I mean, granted, of Infinity Wars, there's going to be some surprises. It's supposed to be like this major shift in what we've seen, but this is a part 1 of part 2. So we all know at the end of part 4, the Avengers part 4, which is part 2 of this, that the good guys are going to triumph, whether Thanos dies or just gets casted out or put into the negative zone, whatever. The good guys are going to triumph. So like what they could do is like when Thanos is triumph, like the reality stone could augment certain things, and it could be shifts where like there's new characters added, and that's a perfect way to just say, hey, yeah, X-Men and this and that, instead of just like having to go and rewrite the comic book history per se. But yeah, like as far as villains coming back, to backtrack, I think Red Skull will be an effect of coming, of this whole thing. I really want to see Annihilus. But Fantastic Four has to make an appearance, and that negative zone has to be introduced for that to happen. But yeah, it's cute, dude. There's so much that can happen, man. There's so much that can happen because they're really.
We'll find out next year.
Yeah, dude. They didn't release the reviews till last night. Like barely 2 days before the initial release of the movie.
Well, they have been keeping this project a big secret.
Yeah, exactly. It's not because like they're afraid that the movie's bad, but yeah, they're really they're giving this the Star Wars treatment where like they don't want any twist to go out, and that's huge because they've played it safe for the most part.
Yeah, you cannot control, especially when you have premieres like open to the public like that.
Yeah.
You can't control spoilers because that's what people going to do. And there's people out there who's going to seek it out just to report it on other forums.
And you know what? Honestly, that is better for the studios from the studio standpoint to not release things so early, because what if the movie's bad, it could still generate hype. Like, look at what happened with the DC films. You know, they were like, you know, reviewed early, and then people bashed them. If they would have kept them to, like, they did it with Justice League. They waited till the last minute, I believe.
Very last minute.
Yeah. But yeah, like,
but they didn't do that with Wonder Woman though.
No, but they should do that. I think they should do that with everything, not just because, you know, to hide whether the movie's bad or not.
Do away with the reviews.
Yeah.
Like, see the movie if you want to see it or not.
Yeah, dude, that's the thing. See, like, I
just don't think the whole review thing is fair. Like,
it isn't, because even those movies that, like, Justice League and BVS, it's still not fair to you know, to have, like, a thought implanted in your head, and then it sways you away from seeing something that is either good or bad. Because there's been movies that, like, people are like, oh, it sucks, don't go see it, and then, you know, people won't see it. But then, all in all, it's a real good movie. You know? Like, yeah, it should be up to the consumer. Because, like, if I want to see something, like I said before, I'm going to go see it. Some people say bad shit about it. Some people say good shit about it. If I really want something that bad, I mean, I'm going to see it for myself, you know?
Just like I pointed, like, for the Power Ranger movie. Like, we was talking about the Power Ranger reviews, and, you know, there's people out there that think Power Rangers are ridiculous. I mean, yeah, I get it, because when I was like 6, 7 years old, it wasn't ridiculous to me.
Yeah.
And I understand that people who are like in their teens be like, okay, that's ridiculous.
Yeah, like even like my parents and shit, like my uncle be like, oh, this is, you know, rip off of this and this and that. Like, but we didn't care about that.
Yeah, but the thing is, we enjoyed it when we were kids, whatever. So like what, a good 20-something odd year later. The movie, well, not the original Power Ranger movie. I'm talking about the
recent one. Yeah,
the recent one movie came out, and knowing that it's already a ridiculous concept, movie still was kind of, you know, still good to me. It surprised me that I mean, I was really didn't expect to enjoy it the way I did.
Yeah, it was a surprise. Yeah.
It was a big surprise, but the thing is, like, if you don't know Power Rangers, or if you're not familiar with it, you shouldn't be reviewing it.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, we're going back to, all right.
I want to hear people's opinion who are actually fan of the Power Rangers.
Yeah, if you're
just like, you think it's ridiculous your whole life, and you have to review it just to say it's ridiculous even more.
Yeah, exactly. Like, if you're a lifelong fan of whatever it is, and then you're disappointed, that's the kind of shit you want to hear. But if all right, you're a lifelong fan of Batman, Superman. I'm a lifelong fan of Batman, Superman. You may not have enjoyed it, but I still want to see it for myself, you know? Yeah. At least, you know, but at least you have a credible reason why. Not just like, oh, I hate these kind of movies. Like you just said, like, dude, we don't like Twilight. We don't like 50 Shades of Grey. But are we going to go to the movie theater just to bash it? I mean, we'll watch it if it's on Netflix or something like that, to just talk shit about it or whatever, or see what the fuck the hype is. Like the Furious movies. Yeah. But, and like that... Dude, that review, like, I gotta read this shit, like, just in case anybody hasn't heard it. It doesn't give away anything. It is just the most dumbest thing. You know what's funny? I actually didn't mean to send that to you, because I was just like, whatever, it's stupid. But when I responded to your text today, it was still in there, so I just sent it at the same time. So anyways, this guy goes about Avengers Infinity War. It's too much. Too many characters, too much action, too much everything. It's a superhero surplus with too many heroes and not enough screen. It's infinity overload.
I mean, like I said, I haven't seen the movie, but there's a chance that he could be right. But this is the third Avenger movies, and it's been like that since Avengers 1.
First of all, if you're following this, like we said in the beginning of the podcast, if you're not following this Avengers shit, then you obviously don't care about it. If you haven't watched every single Marvel movie since Iron Man 1, you're not gonna care about it.
Like me, for me personally, I like the other solo movies better than the Avengers, because
the Avengers movies have been kind of...
The Avengers movies, is just condensed and straight to it's a spectacle.
Yeah, exactly. Like especially the first one. The first one was
Yeah,
like we've never seen this before. This is the first
it's a
time.
spectacle. I mean,
It's like a thrill ride going to an amusement park.
But like for me, all these solo movies I'll rather take. But I understand why they did the Avengers. It's this in the Marvel universe, and it's been a Avengers overload since Avengers 1.
Yeah, but this is actually, unlike the other two, this is actually like a culmination of, like all these years of the stories and the interweaving and everything. So it's like that's why it's such a big deal.
All these characters, the heroes are not like really developed at all. It's just the villains that are developed. We already know what the heroes is about. We've seen their movies.
Yeah.
So I don't really get.
Yeah. From what I'm hearing, this is an actual villain movie though, which is crazy. But yeah. So the thing is with this guy, like all right, but this is also the same dude that gave praise to the Furious 8 movie, which I didn't even know till X pointed that out. So it's like, dude, you really. But I mean, we know this is a hero overload, but this is what it's supposed to be. Thanos is supposed to be one of the most unstoppable villains in comic book history. So naturally, not one hero is going to do it. So it's like it's supposed to be that way. And you have people like the Russos who they know their way around multiple characters. We have Community. They've even at least one of the Russos directed a bunch of episodes of Rick and Morty, another character-driven story. Character-driven thing. Granted, it's mainly Rick and Morty, but if you watch the show, you know what I'm talking about.
Like I said, I'm not saying that the critic is wrong because I haven't seen the movie.
Yeah, and that's his opinion.
That's his opinion, though. But but I have seen Fate of the Furious 8, and I don't agree with his opinion.
Yeah,
but it's just like apples and oranges. We like.
Yeah, everybody likes what they like.
Whatever,
but you could tell he's not invested in it. If that's that's like his highlight
if you're not like a Marvel guy, then I need to hear your opinion.
Because
for example, Man of Steel.
Mm-hmm.
That's a very the divisive movie.
Yeah. People are
divisive are divisive, whatever.
Yeah.
The comic book people, they loved it.
But
they say it's passable, but for the very least.
Yeah. But the other people,
the Superman fans and the critics,
mm-hmm.
They really didn't give it a what do you call it? But for one reason, they say it's dark and whatever. It's like okay.
That argument pisses me off.
But there's some comic book people be like, okay, this is not Superman, and I get why they say that.
That's fine, yeah.
I get why they say that, though. But for it's like an origin. It's an origin story. So
yeah.
There are some problems with the movie, but it came as close to the Superman character.
Yeah.
And of all the things that's happened, that could have been fixed in the next movie really easy. And even in this movie, like the whole destruction, if Superman spent like a good 10 seconds saving people from destruction, no one would be saying about Superman doesn't care about the destruction.
But the whole, what the whole point of that is that like, even the whole like point to that was, even Superman can't save everybody. His father, his adopted father said that.
Yeah.
Even Superman can't save everybody. So it's like, but people complaining about that, but then in Avengers, fucking New York got destroyed, and
New York got.
It's all good. It's all good. It's Avengers. It's Marvel.
They still fought in New York.
Yeah, that's the thing. There's going to be, no matter who you are, no matter what superhero you are, there's going to be destruction.
Plus two Kryptonians. There's like two gods fighting.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, right? But we were complaining about. They were complaining about Superman always stopping planes. That's the most he ever does. Yeah. But now we get an actual like opponent, and that's the thing. It's like
the only one thing in that movie with the whole destruction thing with Superman is just that when he took down that Kryptonian ship right in the middle of the fucking city.
Oh,
that's like, yo, come on.
Yeah.
But other than that, it really looked like what's his name, Zod.
Yeah.
Zod already made his mind up. I'm wrecking shit up over here. You better kill me because I'm everything on this planet is going to be.
Yeah, they were gonna pay for Krypton because Krypton's gone. So
Krypton's gone. So he's going to fuck everybody up in this planet.
And he really just wanted wanted Superman to come back. Like he didn't want to do anything bad. So
he just want to build Krypton over Earth.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, that's kind of bad though. But Superman's adopted home is Earth.
Yeah.
So Superman ain't having that.
But it's like when these critics complain about things being too dark, but then on the same light they complain about the comic book movies being the same shit over and over again. So it's like I don't want to hear that because I mean I get it, they don't read comics or whatever, but even like I don't know, like you could even the most lighthearted dude, Disney films are dark. I'm talking about the animated Disney films like, Snow White and Big Hero 6, this kid's brother blew up in front of his eyes. Like, come on.
Have you ever seen, well, this is not a Disney film, but have you ever seen Watership Down?
Yeah. Bambi?
Watership Down, that shit ain't for kids. I don't care what anybody tell me.
Dude, like, that's the thing. It's like, but, what's another one? Fox and the Hound? Dude, that shit went dark.
Watership Down is darker than freaking Batman versus Superman.
Yeah, no, it is.
Yo,
but
all these rabbits, cannibal rabbits, and man, that's a fucked up movie.
Yeah, but that's the thing. So it's like, I don't know. If your complaint is it's too dark, you can get out of here with that shit. I mean, like, but anyways, so yeah, you could tell when like non-comic book fans or people that are invested in it. So like when people that are like this guy not invested in shit, it's like, dude. Just, I mean,
it's not really fair. Yeah. Like,
check your brain at the door sometimes. Like he was able to stomach and praise Furious 8, Fate of the Furious. Come on, I mean, did this dude not stop a missile with his bare hands?
I mean,
and he's not even a superhero.
This a torpedo, right? And faster the.
That's what it was, right? I still had to see that shit.
It wasn't it wasn't as bad as like how the commercial made it seem.
But I
think he just pushed it away.
That's still.
Though,
I'm pretty sure if you try to touch a torpedo, some repercussions. You're gonna get some repercussions to your body. Like something's gonna happen. But like the thing is, like with movies, even the best of movies. It's supposed to. You just let your imagination, like you let your imagination take over. You get engulfed in this movie. I mean, I don't know, whatever. People like that, I don't. They don't really bother me. It's just sometimes it's annoying when, like, dude, you know what you're watching and you want to act like. I mean, dude, Mad Max was one of the best movies in the last 10 years. That shit was retarded. But it was.
So, like, what's your favorite video game series, like a single player game that you follow that you would buy, like part 1, part 2, or whatever?
Outside of GTA?
Yeah.
Because GTA is kind of like.
Well, GTA is okay.
So GTA.
Okay, it's GTA, right? There's GTA 4 or 5.
5, yeah.
Right, GTA 5. Pretend for a minute I never played all the other GTAs or whatever. I'm not even into. The most I played in the GTA is like 5 minutes or whatever, right? GTA 5 comes out or GTA 6 comes out, right? Then I'm playing this game and I'm complaining about things that is already in GTA 1 to 5, and knowing that I don't play GTA. Are you going to take my word for that shit?
No.
You going to tell me shut the fuck up?
No. That's why half the people that say GTA sucks, I'm like, you probably never played the other ones. Like you probably just playing Call of Duty, and all of a sudden,
I'm going to be like, I'm complaining about the ridiculous violence and shooting cops in GTA. You're going to be like, that's been there in GTA.
Look at the goddamn name of the game, Grand Theft Auto.
Exactly. That just shows like I don't know anything about GTA, and that's how some of these critics sound like.
It's kind of hypocritical.
Yeah.
Because you gotta be invested in it. At least you know what? It's tedious now to go through all. And even if you watch like those recap videos, it won't have the same effect. No. It's like, all right, with Star Wars, most people that like even though Episode 7 opened up a new generation, you still probably didn't get it if you didn't watch all the other 6.
Yeah.
Like if you didn't watch the first 3, the original 3, you might not have cared about even though they were kind of shitty, the prequels. Like you wouldn't have appreciated them. Okay, yeah, exactly. You wouldn't have appreciated them despite them being made kind of shitty.
Yeah.
Because like me, I love the original three. I remember watching them at my grandmother's house and all that. I always Battle at Hoth will always stick out in my head. It was always one of my favorite scenes, being able to play it in video games. So when I saw Phantom Menace, I was a young kid, so I didn't get why people were bitching about it. Then you start to see it later on. You watch the prequels now. Even Episode 3, which is one of my favorites, there was some bad directorial choices, but I see the little things and the coming of Darth Vader and the references to what we saw already it was coming to that. And then even like when Kylo Ren said maybe General Snoke, maybe Grandmaster Snoke should reconsider a clone army. If you didn't watch the other movies, you wouldn't have no idea what he's talking about, which is a big deal because that shows that somebody who worships Vader saw flaws in Vader's system or the Emperor's system. So it's like, anyways, but if you didn't care about the other films, you didn't.
Yeah.
Like if I watch even though it's still shit, this is kind of a bad analogy, but if I watch the last 50 Shades of Grey, it would be hypocritical because I've never seen the first three. Mm-hmm. So as bad as those movies have been reviewed or whatever, it would still be kind of hypocritical. Or like jumping into Game of Thrones in season 5 when you didn't see the rest of it, So yeah, so it's kind of dumb, but we don't listen to those people. Nobody should listen to those people. If you care about something enough, even if your friends are telling you to do it, not to watch it or whatever, or they think it sucks. If you want to see it, go see it because you know what, you may end up liking it. Like one of my good friends hates Mad Max. I love Mad Max. Does that make him any less of my friend? I mean, does that make him any less of a friend to me? Nah, we don't like the same shit. As a matter of fact, he loved Jurassic World. I thought Jurassic World was shit. So anywho, but I'm excited. You guys are excited. They're playing Dragon Ball Z, so they don't care right now, but they're excited. Oh, Nick's playing God of War, which is an awesome ass game. Very good, right, Nick? Yeah, the first hour of that game is intense. So like I could imagine how the remaining 19 hours is gonna be. But anyways, yeah. So we're gonna come back tomorrow after we watch the movie, and we're gonna review it. Promise no spoilers. I'm not gonna be an asshole. I mean, even though barely 5 people will listen to it, but still, for those 5 people, we promise you we will reward you with no spoilers. Maybe the podcast maybe even be like 2 minutes. Like, oh, this shit was awesome. Oh, this shit sucked, which I'm pretty sure it's going to be the former. But and then providing the movie's good, which I'm pretty sure it will be, and I'm planning on seeing it again on Sunday, because there's like I think Jake and I think Nick might come to see it or whatever. But anyways, then we'll do a more in-depth spoiler review because at least most people would have seen it, and I will warn people I'm not gonna just like clickbait people into watching my shit to spoil a movie because that would suck. I think I told you one of my friends he left his headphones at home and some dudes in the train spoiled the whole movie for him. Nah, that's crazy. I mean, you can't be mad because who are we to think that the person next to us cares about that, unless he's decked out in Marvel stuff. But it just sucks. That's just like bad luck right there.
One time he just left his headphones.
Yep, that one time. And I mean, he's more than likely going to enjoy it. I mean, this guy's seen some movies like a bunch of times. So it just sucks though with the spectacle like this, It's like finding out what happens in the season finale because you decided to log on Facebook real quick. But yeah, so I'm curious just to see everything, like kind of like Ready Player One, where you're watching it just to see like all the stuff that's going on around it. Like I mean, I heard the story was good.
The story was good.
But yeah, just watching that, it's like something
more
like
than a reference. There's so many potential that could have happened in the whole movie.
That's crazy. Yeah, I have to watch that soon too.
If you've seen it, you will know what I'm talking about. There's so many potential there that could happen in the world of Hollywood, and it just showed you in that one movie.
That right? It's amazing how much originality we could get, but That's
some
sad.
things you see, you will only see it in that movie. It was just an awesome.
And who directed that? Spielberg.
Spielberg. Yes.
Wow.
It was an awesome experiment. Experiment. You hear me? Experience.
Experiment, experience. Yeah, like that. Yeah, that's something I really want to see.
Whoever wrote that movie had a sick imagination. He's like, yo, I wanted to see this. So he just wrote that shit.
Yeah,
in there.
dude, I'm not one of these people, but imagine reading the book, because the book, obviously has more leeway to say certain characters and whatnot and go further than the book. I mean, than the actual movie. And it's funny, something like that. I don't want to hear people complaining about the book being better. Like if the story was solid in the movie and it was as solid as the book, maybe there wasn't.
The book should always be better.
Yeah, the book is
in
more in depth.
500 pages and everything.
Yeah, the book has to have more details because you don't have a visual.
Yeah.
So they have to put you in there.
And the Hollywood screenplay really does well. It has details, but not in depth like a novel.
Yeah, and you could blame the consumer for them not the movies not being more like the books, because if the consumer wasn't so like, if they would stop shelling out their money on half-ass bullshit, we would get more drawn out trilogies like the Lord of the Rings or the Hobbit, or stuff like that, or even like with this whole Avengers thing. I mean, this is a whole drawn out thing.
If everything was to go by the book, there would have been like 7 sequels. So.
No, that's cool too. And plus too, like licensing, there's only so much they could have gotten away with in that movie. I don't even know, from just the trailers alone, I don't know how the fuck they got away with all that. I mean, from me, like if I'm a company, hey, put my shit in your movie. Free promotion, People see that Thundercat logo, what are they doing the next day? They're watching fucking Thundercats, Like people see the Gundams or Iron Giant. What are they doing when they get home? Watching the Iron Giant, putting on Gundam, or like, what is that robot in that movie? Like so. But companies are companies. So, but yeah. So we'll be back tomorrow with a review episode for you guys, except for Nick, because Nick sucks. He got to work. I told him he should take a lunch break, but he doesn't want to be down. Yeah. Nick's playing God of War. He's probably gonna beat the game before I even get halfway through it. Anything like any other little thing you're looking forward to in the movie? Because you haven't really said much. I know I know how you are, but it's like, is there anything like any little cool?
I'm just looking for the Fox Easter eggs. That's it.
Yeah.
I'm just looking for a file paper that says Richard Reeds or some shit like that. Cause
dude, if the rumors of Silver Surfer are true, I will shit myself, because we'll be getting a proper Galactus.
But they said Silver Surfer was one that got away from Fox, didn't it? Before this whole merger shit.
I think so. I think he's been spoke about.
Yeah. They mentioned some shit like that.
But now that they got Fox and Silver Surfer is rumored to be in it, that only is promising towards getting Galactus. Because what's the next big thing
It's
outside
Galactus.
of you got Galactus, Dark Phoenix, Doctor Doom.
Dark Phoenix, and there's
Apocalypse, Doctor Doom, and Annihilus. Because Annihilus, he has like the whole army and
World Busters, the Avengers type World Busters.
Yeah, because Annihilus is like the ultimate version of Ultron. Well, the galactic version of Ultron. But yeah, so yeah, you have those World Busters, and so yeah, it'll be fucking interesting. And I wonder if the Watchers are gonna play a bigger role in this movie. Because it was cool to see them. I think was it in Guardians? Yeah, Stan Lee was one of the Watchers, and he was telling them a story. The Watchers and the Celestials. Because they did reference the Celestials when they were telling the story of the Infinity Stones in Guardians. So
the Skrulls are going to be that.
Yeah, unknown. The planet is the unknown is Eagle's a Celestial. Well, he gave that up now. He gave that up to destroy his father and whatever. So that's done, which is good. But
I still think Jason they should have stuck with Jason.
But yeah, because Celestials gave Apocalypse his power, so that's something to look forward to.
Also, wow, the first mutant wasn't even actually.
No, he was. No, they didn't give him his power. Sorry, they gave him his technology. They gave him the technology to, like all that like armor he has, because his powers are his. So like him being an Omega level, the first mutant, yeah, that's all him. But somehow I don't remember the exact like story, but he got his technology, the stuff you see, like the armor, yeah, through the Celestial. So yeah, you excited, Nick?
Yes, very excited.
Word. God of War. Nick's been hitting the gym, ladies, so watch out for him. 2018, new year, new him.
Get back.
Start posting those genetics pics. Look, he's already flexing.
Yeah, you went to the gym 1 month, doesn't know how to act.
I know, right?
You don't know how to act. This guy not losing focus. This guy was standing by the dumbbells, the big ass mirror, just standing there mad dumbed out.
You know, it's funny. I could picture that too.
And me and Dreamer looked over like, yo, what the hell's wrong with this nigga? He just stood there for a good minute and he did that smirk.
He fell asleep.
I was like, yo, what's going on?
You working hard, man. You gotta take a rest from time to time,
Rest.
bro.
You look like a damn psycho standing over there.
You gotta take
Talking
a rest.
about rest.
Take a rest, get back in the zone, man.
My man, look,
Yo,
My man.
He fell asleep.
you got to record that shit next
my
time.
man went to Dimension X, yo. Just standing there in front of the mirror.
Yo, but man, you know, between sets, you gotta take a rest and everything.
My man.
No, let me live, bro.
Yo, it looked like you got warp speed, yo. Warp speed to Dimension X, yo. Jump on, gotta take a rest, you damn liar.
He's having his.
Someone's on your mind, man. Someone's on your mind that take it. Yo,
He's thinking about Infinity Wars.
You know what I'm saying?
I'm cooling, man. I'm chilling.
It's not a sheep.
Oh
Shit,
man,
it's early in the morning too. You know,
We lost
I'm
him for a couple of minutes.
he fell asleep.
We lost him. I was like, yo, we watched him for a good minute. He was just standing there like, yo.
Yo, next time you got to record that.
Hell yeah, son.
Might have to bring him to a church. He's probably possessed
You know
by
what
the
I'm
devil or something.
That's my thing, son.
Out of there with that.
All right, yo. So we'll be on tomorrow. Peace out.
Out.
2018.
Chris.